Well, that's Republican strategist Rina Shah there talking to me a little earlier. I'm joined now by Erol Morkoc, who's Vice Chair of the External Relations for Republicans Overseas UK. Erol, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I wonder if you agree with some of what Rina had to say, particularly at the end there, where she, as a Republican, was saying she thinks that Mr. Trump needs to go for the good of the party.
Well, I mean, I certainly respect her opinion. I also respectfully disagree. He is undergoing what is effectively a Soviet justice system, akin to what's happening to Imran Khan in Pakistan, is the closest
in the United
current
States
parallel.
of America. You're comparing the two, are you?
Yes, sadly. And, Donald Trump, he posted his own mugshot. This is the fourth indictment. We've gone down this rabbit hole of prosecuting and persecuting an American citizen for exercising his First Amendment rights. A lot of the, let's say, evidence against him is, going to be presented, as she said, to a jury of his peers. And you're going to have unanimous consent that this man, by just questioning what happened here in a Republican stronghold where he expected to win, why on earth did I lose? And there's like quotes that are being used, like, find me 11,000 votes. Well, if you continue with that quote, he says, because there's more mail-in ballots coming, I know I've won this state. It's a Republican stronghold. So in a court of law where all of this is going to be presented, Donald Trump is also going to have the ability to call his own witnesses and also cross-examine.
Well, the outcome of the case remains to be seen. But the result was that Joe Biden won. But let's talk more about how this is reflecting on the party and beyond as well, beyond the grassroots and Mr. Trump's hardcore supporters. Is this not a major turn-off for floating voters, for more moderate Republican voters as well?
Yeah, that's a really strong point, because while Donald Trump has a strong grip on the Republican, let's say, electoral base, he does not have the strongest grip on that middle-of-the-road voter. And look, if you put a man in front of cameras, in front of jail cells 4 times and say he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty, before a trial, you very easily could sway 5 or 10% of those moderate middle-of-the-road voters to either not show up or to say, you know what, it's a bridge too far, it's gone too far, this isn't my candidate. However, being able to prosecute your enemy into a position where he cannot run against you is certainly un-American. I believe he's facing 700 years in prison. So on the contrast, the moderate voter might look at this and say, well, it's a bridge too far the other way. You're trying to put this man in prison for 10 lifetimes for basically a very circumstantial set of situations. And using RICO Act, so they're going to have, I think, 21 defendants up there. It's going to be a media circus, and the one person who can be the ringmaster is Donald Trump. Like you had mentioned, he posted his own mugshot on Twitter. That's going to be one of, as far as the financial side of it, how many supporters will go give $20 tomorrow? 100,000, boom. He's just paid his legal fees for the next year. So you do have a really good point. The moderate voter is going to be the one who is most impacted by this, and the Democrat Party strongly wants to run against Donald Trump, as opposed to a Vivek or a Ron DeSantis, who would be much more, let's say, commensurate with the general public than Donald Trump, who's very controversial.
Well, why is their popularity so far behind him at the moment in the primary race then? Why are they living in his shadow, would you say?
Well, because Donald Trump speaks to the regular men and women of this country. He doesn't speak to the political strategist. He doesn't speak to the game theory perspective of who's more likely. He speaks to people who are really going through the ringer right now. The economy's not doing well. We've got a very unfortunate situation in Europe. We have, increasing overdose rates in this country. Things are not exactly great for the regular men and women in this country. And they remember, the greatest 4 years of economic prosperity, where people went from, lower class up to middle class and felt that. They felt themselves going back down, and they're remembering, the economic prosperity, the lack of war, detente with people like in North Korea. At least we had some conversations.
But some of the candidates the other night were attacking Donald Trump's record in office.
Well, of course, but I mean, the ones who are the most, let's say, vicious are people like Chris Christie, who have absolutely no chance. And the one who stood out the most in the debate, Vivek, I mean, he's one of Trump's biggest supporters. And, Ron DeSantis didn't really say much about it. But, he does have a lot of support from, let's say, the candidates who are on the top of the pile of, let's not call them losers, but people who have probably no chance. They're all auditioning to be Trump's vice president. And there's certain people on that stage who definitely were there just to throw stones at Mr. Trump. And that's why Mr. Trump didn't show up.
Errol, let me ask you one last quick question, if I may. Rena raised the prospect that Mr. Trump will drop out of this race. Do you agree with that? Very quickly.
Oh, no. I'd bet my house against that. There's no way he would back down now. If he was going to quit, he would have quit a long time ago.
Okay.
No way. No chance.
Well, listen, thank you for joining us this morning. Erol Morkoc there, who is Vice Chair of External Relations at Republicans Overseas UK.
It's 17.